Over 200 school children were kidnapped again on Friday in central Nigeria. Another school attacked, another community shattered, and somehow this country keeps pretending this is normal. This isn't the first time this is happening. It is not a new threat. It is a deliberate, profitable tactic perfected through reputation. Let's rewind to April 2014. 276 Chibok girls were abducted, taken from their dorms in the dead of the night. The world watched. Hashtag trended. Yet, years later, many of these girls are still missing. They were never found. Their families lost them forever. Then came the Dapchi girls in 2018. These schoolgirls were kidnapped, some returned, some were never accounted for. In 2021, over 40 students from Kagara were seized, only to be released weeks later, carrying scars that will never fade. This isn't just a list of schools. This is a catastrophic timeline. Since the Chibok girls incident, over 1,880 students have been abducted or unalived across Nigeria. Promises of the government feels increasingly hollow, and banditry keeps coming back stronger, spreading wider. Imagine your child, just 10 years old, walking to class with nothing but a notebook and pencil. They never expect the life-altering moments waiting ahead. You picture their dreams, their future, and then all of a sudden they are gone. Their fate tied to a ransom negotiation. Families wait hours after hours, phone pressed to their ears, hoping for a sign, a word, anything. Teacher pacing disbelief, remembering the faces that filled their classroom. You can feel the raw tension, the grief, the profound helplessness. This is the reality of thousands of Nigerian parents. An existence defined by question, are we next? We have to move past the grief and face the cold hard logic. This is a business built on terror. Gunmen or bandits do not strike randomly. They operate within a lucrative low-risk economy. Massive school kidnappings thrive because this ransom economy fuels them. The figures are staggering. Reports shows that Nigerians have paid an estimated 2.2 trillion naira in ransom in a single year. Human life has become a profitable commodity. In recent attacks, the demand for each individual student has been as high as 100 million naira, or over $69,000. A single successful payment injects massive cash into these groups, funding their recruitment and advanced weaponry. Schools are easy targets. Isolated, lightly guarded, sometimes just a single block building with no perimeter fence. Children are unprepared and security response is too slow, often delayed by hours or days, giving the bandits more than enough time to disappear into the forest. The government promises swift action. Security forces are deployed, helicopters scan the dense forest. Parents cling to hope. But when you remember Chibok, Dapchi, Kagara, and so many others, you wonder if this time will be any different. Each abduction exposes cracks in a system meant to protect its children, a system that has failed too many times. How many more children must be kidnapped before something happens or changes? How many parents must stay awake at night praying their child is in nests? This isn't just about one school or a state. This is happening everywhere in Nigeria. Insecurity has become a shadow over daily life. From villages in Zamfara to towns in Kaduna, from highways to markets, even inside classrooms, gunmen strike with terrifying regularity, leading families in constant fear. You start to see that this is bigger than any single incident. It is a crisis that has been building for years, one that leaves families broken, communities anxious, and the nation struggling to keep its children safe. And yet, within the darkness, there are still flickers of resilience in the people. Teachers risking their lives to protect students, parents refusing to give up their hopes, communities joining hands to guard schools and villages. And now we must also demand answers about the structures that were supposed to prevent all this. We must ask what happened to the Safe School initiative launched in 2014 with $10 million and backed by international donors. It was the government's promises to fortify school. It pledged fences, alarms, trained security and rapid response units. Yet, here we are, watching history repeat itself at St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State, where over 200 children were taken in one night, just days after another attack in neighboring Kebbi. The fences are still missing, the alarms are silent, the funding has evaporated into bureaucracy, while schools remain as vulnerable as they were a decade ago. The cost of this failure isn't just a ransom payment, but in the classroom emptied by fear, Nigeria now has over 18.3 million out-of-school children, the highest number in the world. This is the epidemic of fear. For every child kidnapped, 100 others drop out because their parents refuse to risk their lives. We are watching a generation being dismantled. Bandits have evolved. They are no longer ragtag militias. They are organized syndicates riding information of hundreds, armed with sophisticated weapons that often outgun local security. They have turned child abduction into an industrial-scale operation. Thoughts and prayers are no longer enough. Condemnation from the capital are no longer enough. We need to audit security spending. We need to know why intelligent reports are ignored until after trucks are already loaded with weeping children. Leaders must be held accountable for every breach, every delay, every missing Naira that was meant to protect school. If we do not fix the system that keeps enabling this nightmare, we are not just failing these children, we are contributing to the erasure of their future. The time for promises is over. The time for real, fortified, ruthless protection is now. Because a nation that cannot keep its children in school will soon have no nation left to build. And to build that nation, we must confront the geography of our failure. These bandits are not spirits vanishing into thin air. They are occupying the ungoverned spaces that we have surrendered. Vast territories like the Rugu Forest, which spans Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna, have become the de facto sovereign state for criminals. In these dense woodlands, training camps operate in broad daylight. We know where they are, the authorities know where they are. Yet, political will to reclaim these spaces remain paralyzingly absent. We must also have the uncomfortable conversation about the failed strategy of appeasement for years. State government attempted to negotiate peace deals with these terror groups, offering amnesty and cash in exchange for downing weapons. But you cannot negotiate with those who see children as currency. And you know the results. The funds meant for peace were used to purchase higher grade assault rifles and anti-aircraft guns. The repentant bandits often return to the forest, bolder and richer than before. This policy didn't just fail, it subsidized the very violence we are seeing today. It validated the business model of terror. A lot of the survivors, the story doesn't end when the ransom is paid and the children returns. We talk about the numbers, but we rarely talk about the aftermath. Many of the released students return to communities that do not know how to heal them. There is a silent crisis of stigma. Girls who return from captivity are often viewed with suspicion or shame, labeled as wives of bandits, carrying trauma that no rural clinic is equipped to treat. Boys are forced into drugs abuse by their captors, returning with addiction that shatter their families all over again. We are recovering the bodies sometimes, but we are failing to recover the souls. This cycle of abduction, payments, and half-hearted rescue is unsustainable. It is the slow-motion collapse of state authority. When non-state actors walk into a school, round up 300 citizens, and dictate terms to government, the social contract is broken. We need more than just soldiers on the road. We need a total overhaul of our intelligence architecture. We need technology, drones, satellites, CCTVs deployed not just for surveillance but for decisive actions. We need to prosecute the financiers of this banditry, the big men in the cities who launder the ransom money, cutting the head of the snake rather than just fighting the tail. The clock is ticking. Every day we delay, the bandits grow stronger, the forests grow darker, and the classroom grow emptier. We cannot let this become the new normal. We cannot let the Nigerian children become an endangered species in their own land. Every abduction reminds us of the fragile thread that holds safety together. Every empty classroom, every worried parent, every child too scared to go to school is a symbol of a nation grappling with insecurity. We remember the victim. We stand with the children whose voices have been stolen, and families trapped in despair, hoping for answers that may never come. We demand action, change, protection. Every child deserves a classroom, not captivity. Every parent deserves hope, not endless fear. Don't let this story fade. Speak, share, care, and never forget.